Okay, good evening, everyone. Tonight we have Irene Diamond, who wears many professional hats, but they all relate to helping people succeed in their health and in their wealth. She is the creator of the effective rehabilitation technique called active myofascial therapy, the Diamond Method, which helps clients get out of the pain and function physically at a higher level. Irene has also helped therapists succeed with her online success website called massagesuccess.org. And by providing business and marketing products and coaching services, Irene is also founder and director of the Diamond Massage and Wellness Center, which is actually the first wellness center in San Francisco. Welcome tonight, Irene.
Hi, Ryan. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. So, my first question is, how did you actually get involved into massage? Because it's so creative and so entertaining why they wanted to get into massage.
Okay, well, I got to massage sort of two ways. One was when I was 15, I used to do a form of acrobatics called acro sports. And I was standing on a guy's shoulders, and I actually fell off his shoulders and landed on my head and ended up with a spinal cord injury. And I had a fracture of my fifth and sixth cervical vertebra, and I was completely paralyzed. And I was in the hospital for 2 months, and I was in traction and had surgery and all of that. And back then, this was quite a while ago, I had 1 day of physical therapy, and that was it. And they said, okay, you're fine, see you later. And so here I was in these braces and could not even move. I had lost all my muscle because I was in the hospital on a striker frame, which is where you lay on your back with basically your head is in a halo, and I was staring straight up at the ceiling for 2 months. So I completely atrophied, and they let me go after 1 day of PT and said, okay, you're fine, see you later. And so I was in chronic pain and had to basically learn how to rehab myself. And I was a kid, I was 15 years old, so I went and I got every book I could, and I studied what I could, and I volunteered that summer at the rehab hospital. And I was starting to get my movement back, but I still had a lot of pain. And my mom had a great idea, which was to bring a massage therapist into our home. And they started to work with me. And so what I was finding was that massage was really helping for me to reduce my pain and increase my function. And then the cool part was that I would start to direct the therapist working with me by saying, okay, hold that spot right there. And so, here I was taking over. I was driving and just using them with their expertise in their hands, but I was telling them what I thought I wanted to do. So I knew I was on to something, but I was still a kid and I was still in high school, and but they would take what I was telling them to do with me, and they would do it with their clients as well, and started seeing better results. So again, we knew we were onto something. I knew massage was helping me, but it was my little twist on massage that was really getting me the results I was looking for. So that's one part of how I got into massage. Then fast forward, I went to school, got my degree in rehab therapy, not even thinking or remembering about the massage part, thinking I was going to be some sort of movement-based therapist, working with people who had orthopedic conditions and helping them through movement, not thinking hands-on. And so when I was going to school, people were saying, well, what are you going to do with that degree? And just to be, to shut them up, I would say my canned answer was, well, I'm going to be a cruise director on the Love Boat like Julie.
You kind of look like Julie.
Well, so you actually know who Julie is.
Yes, I do.
Now.
Yeah.
Back in both days. So that was just my pat answer. I'd never been on a cruise. I really never thought I was ever going to be on a cruise, but that was just to shut them up because they thought I was going to be a PE teacher or something like that, and that didn't sound too exciting. So a roommate, when I was in college, came back from a cruise with her mom, and she said, Irene, we need to get a job on a cruise ship. So I sent off some resumes, and within a week, Ryan, I had a position for American Hawaii Cruises as their health and fitness and sports director on the ship. And within a week, I was out there sailing around. So I was the fitness director on their ships for 2 years. But this was, again, a long time ago before the cruises had fitness programs. And so my fitness program with the cruise line was shuffleboard or ping pong or a walk on deck or maybe an aerobics class. And so what I realized was that I needed to start a company putting together fitness programs on cruise ships. So that was my first big business, which was called Seafit Tours. And I had no funding, no financial backing whatsoever, just my savings. And a friend said, "Hey, Irene, you're really good with your hands," because unofficially I would be massaging people. "And why don't you go to school and learn massage? Then you can, do 1 or 2 appointments and make enough money to then spend the rest of your time working on getting your cruise ship job off the ground, or cruise ship business off the ground." And that was actually the best advice he could have ever given me, because what that meant was that I took what I knew instinctively, got the education, put it all together from my college degree plus my massage training, plus my intuition and my intuitive sense of what my personal body needed, put it all together and started my practice. And that's basically how it started. So it was just as a way to fund my travel business. I had no intent ever to have a massage practice. But I have to say, I'm good at marketing and I'm a good therapist. And so it started getting busier and busier and busier, and 2 appointments turned to 4 appointments, and 4 appointments turned to 8. And then when I'd go off on these ships, my clients would say, "Well, where are you going? You're leaving us. You can't go." And so I had to start hiring other therapists to see my overload of clients. And that's how the wellness center started. So it's taken a really circuitous route, but I am where I am. I'm thrilled that I'm here, and I'm thrilled with the path it's taken me, even though it wasn't my intent to ever be a massage therapist.
That's what a lot of us, it seems, you just don't realize it, but bam, you're a massage therapist.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you still use any of your education that you had before, or is it more just strictly massage that you're using?
No, actually. So now, as a practitioner, I very, very rarely do massage. So I do active myofascial therapy, which is the rehabilitation technique that I developed based, again, on my own personal experience and what I needed to rehab, plus my college degree and all my advanced training. I've done a lot of, obviously continuing education classes and courses, and on my own study, learned more about the anatomy and physiology and kinesiology and neuroanatomy and all of that. And so the therapy practice that I have now within the massage wellness center that I run is strictly active myofascial therapy. And I can tell you the difference between those two if you'd like, but basically massage, as you know, the person's passive on the table, and the therapist applies the work to their body. With active myofascial and review each time the client comes back, so that you are sure they're doing it right. I mean, today I had a client that I have seen for about 3 months, and so we reviewed some of them, and she was doing them all wrong, and even though we've reviewed them again and again. And so it's important for us as a therapist to make sure that whatever we're suggesting the client do, that the client knows how to do it and when to do it and why to do it, and that way they'll be more effective at it, and they'll get better results for sure.
And are you a CEU provider too?
I am. I am. I'm not nationally certified approved, so I'm category B instead of category A.
Are you planning on to going more national level?
I am teaching nationally, but I'm not planning on going that route. And that's a whole nother discussion. But no, I'm not going to apply for to be a provider for them, unless they'd like to grandfather me in. But
okay.
But I've been teaching across the country for years now, and trying to do it a little bit more now because I have 2 small kids, so they're getting older, and I'm able to now travel more. So if anybody out there would like me to come to their town, let me know. Send me an email and we can set something up. I love teaching. I really get excited about teaching and sharing my information, and then the people who take my classes really seem to get great results, so that's rewarding. And then of course the more happy therapists, the more happy clients.
And do clients have to be unclothed for this treatment, or can they be fully clothed? Or
no. Well, we don't do fully clothed, but we certainly have people clothed. I mean, once in a while they'll get undressed if we're working on a particular area and want to use lotion, but there's no lotion. It's usually clothed because, again, we're moving. We're doing so much active work.
Okay.
And a lot of it is trigger point and myofascial. Sometimes we can use a lotion or a slight lubricant of some sort, like an analgesic cream, but oftentimes we're just working right through their clothes.
Do you ever incorporate a myofascial release into it then?
There is it combines trigger point work, myofascial work, neuromuscular re-education, posture, biomechanics, and ergonomics.
Now say that backwards.
All of that becomes active myofascial therapy.
Okay.
So it's my twist on it. The myofascial therapy has been around forever. It's my twist on it. The person is active while we're applying it.
Okay. And then do you ever do posture evaluation, like pictures beforehand too and pictures afterwards? Do you believe in that?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I use a video and I also use still cameras because a picture definitely is worth 1,000 words. If the client sees their image side profile, it's a wake-up call for them often. I have a grid where we have the lines parallel and vertical on our wall in one of our rehab rooms, and that's where we take the images. And so if you're going to do any rehab therapy, my number one thing is you have to assess. If you're not assessing, you're guessing, right? So whether you're doing active myofascial therapy or any corrective-based work, I think it's a disservice and not professional unless you're doing an evaluation to begin with and an assessment, and the posture is part of that assessment.
Do you see massage therapists, do you think they should be starting to evaluate more like that? Because, again, it seems like 95% at least do not do any kind of evaluations beforehand.
Well, that's a good question, but I think it depends on who they're working with, what their clientele base is. So if somebody's coming in for relaxation, you're going to assess, but you're going to assess differently. What are you going to assess? Their stress level, right? Mm-hmm. You might assess their tension in their muscle tissue, but you're not necessarily going to assess their function or their strength or their balance. But if they're coming to you for those conditions, you absolutely should be. So I think it really is important to, first of all, figure out who am I working on and what do I need to assess, and why are we assessing? We're assessing because we want to determine where the person starts so you can gauge the efficacy of your work, right? If you have no clue with what their condition is when you start with them, how do you know if you even did anything that was beneficial to them?
Yeah,
so
true.
By you assessing, you can gauge the efficacy of your work, and the client can also gauge that, and you can say, look, you could turn your head 40 degrees when we first started, and now after 30 minutes I can get you to 80 degrees. Look at that improvement. And by you stating that, you're reaffirming in their mind that what you did was beneficial, right? So It helps as far as marketing and sales, because then they're going to say, wow, that really works, I'm going to come back. And I'm happy to pay you.
And how long are the treatments usually? Are they half an hour, 45 minutes, hour?
Yeah, that's a good question. With active myofascial therapy, we traditionally structure sessions in two different time frames. However, they're not time-based. So for calendaring purposes, we'll block out what we call a targeted session, which is about a 30-minute session, or an expanded session, which is about an hour. But again, it can go a little bit longer, it can go a little bit shorter, but that's what we plan just time-wise. And so in a targeted session, we're focusing on just one, maybe two areas. And in an expanded session, we can focus obviously on more. And so sorry, Brian.
No, that's fine.
What I was going to say is that one of the main things also that differentiates massage from active myofascial therapy is we're results-based as opposed to time-based. So when someone's asked me, what are my rates? I don't say, well, for an hour, it's X. I say for us to be able to get you to see these results, and I'll list them, based on my conversation with them, we need to do an expanded session, therefore my rate is this. Does that make sense?
Yes, definitely. And do you ever have people pay for packages? I know it's like with Rolfing and stuff, they have them pay for like 10 packages up front. And do you have any kind of sessions that you want them to see them through in order to get better then? Or?
Well, for most people, for most orthopedic conditions.
Okay.
And again, we can't just sort of lump everybody together, but we have what's called the accelerated package. And an accelerated package is the evaluation plus 3 or 4 expanded sessions within about a week. So very close together, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, something like that. And the reason we do it so close together, again, is because we're working on re-educating their neuromuscular system. If we wait too long in between appointments, their body goes back to their old habits. So we want to kind of hit it hard and fast and be as aggressive as possible without obviously being too aggressive.
And would people be less sore, would you say, just because it's a little bit more movement compared to regular just trigger point therapy where you're just pushing and holding and stuff?
People should not be sore at all.
Okay.
If they're sore, then the therapist either did it incorrectly or did it too long or didn't assess correctly. No, it shouldn't. It's while the client is being worked on, there's going to be that, that good hurt. We call it a rate of perceived comfort.
Oh, I like that term.
Yeah, rate of perceived comfort. Yeah. 0 to 10 scale, it should be about an 8, right? That good hurt.
Yep. So
they can breathe into it and they can relax into it. It should never be, ow, this is really killing me. I can't wait till you stop. Get your hand out of it. No, because that speaks the full purpose, right?
Yep.
They're coming to you if they're already in pain. I never understood why therapists feel they need to inflict more pain.
So it's basically the hurt good kind of feeling and stuff.
Right, because again, your nervous system then, if you're experiencing that, experience it as a pleasurable sensation, not as a negative sensation.
Okay.
So, the complete different system goes into effect.
And then Danielle from Green Bay, she's going to get in touch with you to host a course there. So if you're willing to go to Wisconsin.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right, Danielle, send me an email.
Yeah. And I think she's going to try to get to the AMTA National Convention too. So you're going to be there, right?
I'm going to be at the convention in your hometown, Minnesota.
Yeah, there you got it. Yeah.
We had one of our therapists was from there, so I heard her accent a lot. So I learned.
Yeah.
I'm going to be there. So yes, definitely people come up and say hello to me, and that'd be nice.
Are you going to have a booth there then?
No, I'm not going to have a booth officially, but I'll be probably taking some classes and just being available and mingling and hanging out and talking and meeting people. And I'm going to be filming videos too, Ryan.
Okay. We'll film each other. So what are you going to shoot there? Are you going to just do interviews with people?
Well, yes. Now, I know this talk is on business and active myofascial therapy, but my other hat is my website that's a resource for massage therapists to help them grow their practices, called successfulmassagetherapist.org. And so I film business tips. So I'll come up to you and I'll come up to other successful therapists and film your number one business tip. So you can all start thinking about what that is. And they're just short little mini videos that we post up on the website.
Okay. I'm subscribed to that channel too. So don't you have a couple channels? YouTube?
You mean on YouTube?
Yeah.
Well, this is actually, some of them are posted on YouTube, but then also anybody can see those for free, and that's if they go to the massagesuccess.org website and they become a bronze member. It's free, but then you have access to all of those videos, and then also you have access to a lot of different things as well. So, but that's my thing is, we all have such a wealth of information, and all of us have figured out little tips and strategies. And I think it's really important for us to tap into the wisdom that we each have and share that amongst each other.
And I think you should also do videos on where people have failed. So sometimes, because sometimes you only learn from people that fail and stuff. So yeah.
Okay, that'll be my second part.
Yep. Yep. And I know you mentioned before that you worked on. How long ago was it when the last time you worked on a cruise ship?
Oh boy.
Can we guess how old you are now?
No.
No.
I'll sit further from the camera.
Good, yeah.
No, about 10, maybe about 11 years ago.
Okay.
And that's when I was going out on the ships.
And did they hire massage therapists during that time then too?
They did. The ships were, they were employing massage therapists. Some cruise lines hired them directly themselves, and some of the other cruise lines were using a company to place therapists. So it was out of London, and they would interview the therapists, and then they'd place them on the ships all over the world for all the different cruise lines. And that's more how it's going now. I don't think any cruise line themselves directly hires therapists now. If any of the therapists that are listening want to work on a cruise ship, they can definitely send me an email, and I can give them some information if they'd like. But the best thing is to contact the cruise line directly, find out who they use, and then apply through that company.
And I know there's been a lot of bad buzz about working on cruise ships as massage therapists. Like working so many hours, 12 to 16 hours and all this kind of things. What are some let's think of some positive things.
There's a lot of positive things. Yes, you're working your butt off, and it's not a vacation. You're not there to be on vacation. You're there to work. You're there to obviously provide a service on behalf of the cruise line. However, there are times where you're in port and you can go off and wander around, and then you're a tourist, then you're on vacation. But it is a job for sure. Now, the advantages are you're going to make some good money, and you really don't have any expenses because the cruise line is paying for your place to stay. They're paying for your food, right? There's nothing that you have to upfront or pay out of pocket. So you can make some good money and save it away. A lot of people do it for a year or 6 months, have a nice savings, and then go out and start their own practice or start their own job on land because they've been able to save so much. So there's definitely advantages. You meet people from all over the world. You're on a cruise ship, so yes, you're actually living down in the bottom of the ship, and you're not up in some fancy stateroom. I have to say, my job, it was the best because I was in a fancy stateroom. I could come and go. I could set my own hours because I was working for myself on these cruise ships. So I created what I wanted to create. And we would bring a massage therapist with us as well. But I do encourage people to look into it. You have to be prepared to work hard. You have to be prepared to live in small quarters and not have your time be your own. That's the main thing to remember is, you're on somebody else's clock the whole time you're there.
And do they prefer a lot of experience, would you say, in order to get on there, or a certain age requirement, or?
There are certain age requirements for sure. You have to have permits and all the licenses and all of that they're looking for. But again, depending on the cruise ship you're on, there'll be different requirements because most of the cruise ships now are not American based. And so they're under what's called a foreign flag. And so there are different requirements and different restrictions and laws that need to be followed. So each cruise line works a little differently, but you could be a brand new therapist out of school, and as long as you have a good personality, that's going to be half of it because again, you're there to help the passengers have a good time.
Yeah. And do people usually get paid hourly, or do they get paid a salary then, or do they get commission or salary then? Okay.
And then sometimes commission on sales of products.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So you would
part of it. Sales of product is a big part of it.
Okay, so that definitely helps get a little bit extra cash then, right, for selling those kind of what kind of products would you say would they sell then?
Well, it ties into the hair salon. So there's the hair products and the body lotions and the wraps and the muds and all of that. If you also are a massage therapist, and have a background as an esthetician, they will be much more likely to hire you for that because then they get sort of two birds with one stone. Okay. one cabin, one airfare, and they get two skills.
So any kind of those kind of questions, it's okay for them people to contact you and.
Yeah. If you want, I can actually look up. A friend of mine has a website. I'll do this right now if I can, and hopefully I won't get bumped off of this call with you. But let's see. I'm going to just see if I can find it. He has a website that's sort of based like mine is. It's a membership site, and it's how to get a job on a cruise ship. Can you see my screen, Ryan?
Nope, I can only see you.
Okay, so you didn't see my typing mistake right
Nope.
there? All right, good.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, this should bring us right there. Well, his name is Neil Maxwell, and my computer's taken a while, but anybody who contacts him, just let him know Irene Diamond sent you, and he'll take good care of you. He's got a membership site on just how to get a job, and it's not only massage therapists, though. It's any position on a cruise, but he's all up to date. Like I said, I haven't been on it for a while, so I'm kind of out of date on that, but he's got all the most current information.
Okay, cool. And what's the name of the website then?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying. It's coming.
Okay. Otherwise, I can do it after the show too and stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's go on, and I'll jump back at that in a sec.
And then one question I had about the AMT technique is, what do you guys do to warm up the body beforehand? Because I know in massage they always stress so much you have to warm up the muscles before you get in there and get deeper.
Yeah, that's a good question. Movement. The person doing active movement, and if somebody gets certified as an active myofascial therapist, they'll learn the specific movement patterns to direct the client to warm that area before we start applying the manual therapy. And it just takes a minute. It's not even that much movement that'll get them warmed up and ready to have you apply your hands-on work. The movement's incorporated through everything, so it's not like they do movements and then they get on the table. It's all combined.
Okay. And do you ever use heat at all?
Yes, indeed. We use waist heat therapy. You're asking all the perfect questions.
Okay.
Waist heat therapy, hydrocolation.
Okay.
Yep.
So, yeah, I love hydrocolators. Oh.
Yeah, it helps get the muscles really warm. Softens up the connective tissue. It allows the therapist to work in deeper. Even our massage therapists use that as well.
And what is the training process to be AMT technician or therapist then?
Well, we have classes that I teach across the country, which can last from a 1-day to 2-day seminar. And we also are holding an annual 40-hour certification seminar. And we this year will be our second certification seminar, so it's held every August here in San Francisco. And this month, so it's the end of the month, it'll be August 30th through September 3rd. So it's 5 days here in the city of San Francisco, California. And we cover the whole entire body, assessing, application of the techniques, principles, the therapeutic exercises. And then I also cover a lot of marketing and business, because that's my background. And like you said at the beginning of the call, you were asking, well, what if somebody comes in wanting a massage? How do you get them to be active? So there's that whole part of knowing how to present the work so the clients are receptive to it. So if somebody wants to be certified, they can take the 40-hour class. It's 5 days, or they can, I'm still kind of working out the curriculum, only because, again, like I said, I direct the wellness center where I'm at right now, and then I also have this online resource, the successfulmassagetherapist.org. So the active myofascial therapy is also in there. It's just it's not completely formalized yet, but I'm thinking of having it be where, if I go to Wisconsin, to Green Bay, and then I can teach the neck component, and then somewhere else I'll be teaching lower extremities, and somewhere else upper extremities. And so it's broken up into 5 different days, 5 different components.
Okay, and then what are somebody asked what the price usually is for those kind of classes?
Well, the 1-day seminar, it all depends. If they take the seminar that's coming up this August, it's $920 for the 40 hours, but they get a lot of other advantages as well. So it's not just paying for the education; they're going to get a bunch of other bonuses. And anybody can go to the website if they want. It's either thediamondmethod.com or activemyofascialtherapy.com. It'll bring you both to the same place. And you'll just see there's a choice of either clients or therapists. So obviously you're going to click on the therapist circle down at the bottom, and then that'll show you in the navigation bar, it'll give you a choice of certification at the top. And so somebody can look there and you'll see all the benefits that they get once they join us for the 40-hour seminar. And I'd love to have anybody listening come. We are just starting the promotion, so I'm a little behind the 8 ball in getting the word out. And just to entice people, I do have an early bird special where they can get 20% off. So for that $920, they can get 20% off if they register before, let's see, I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget, August 8th. So if they register before August 8th, they get 20% off, and all you have to do when you get to the shopping cart page is put in the code AMT-20.
Okay.
So that'll save them 20%. And if it's after the 8th, before the 21st, then it's 10% off. Then it's AMT-10. And so that way, I mean, my whole thing is to get people in, let them learn the technique, let them get certified, and then they can take the seminar again every August if they want for only, you ready? Only 25%.
Oh, that's nothing.
Yes, for life, right? Next year they can come back and whatever the rate is, if it's $920 now times 25, they pay $230 for 40 hours of review and being involved again. So, again, it's not just like how much does it cost for this one? It's an ongoing relationship. I want to be sure that people get the technique, and we're going to constantly be improving the methods and the modality to be as effective as possible.
And the nice thing is, I mean, in San Francisco, it's a nice little vacation too, and it's all write-off for therapists. And
that's right. Talk to your tax accountant. Yeah, it's fun. It's San Francisco, as you know, it's a great city. We have a good time. I really try to give people as much information as possible on the technique, but then again, on also, again, everything from how to be a successful rehab therapist to how to market your practice. On our website, your name will get listed if you become certified. Even if you just take the class and don't become certified, your name is up there. So I really want to try to encourage, as much business to you as possible in your town.
And then even when people just take, let's say, the one day, are they allowed to use the technique or say they know how to use it and stuff then? And
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I have, for example, like tomorrow, I'm going to be teaching an hour-and-a-half class. It's an introductory class on active myofascial therapy, so people can get their hands familiar with it and they can start doing it. Now, they can't say they're a certified active myofascial therapist, but they can tell their client what I'm doing is active myofascial therapy. Absolutely. I want people to use it because it's so, you can learn it so quick, it's so effective, and you can start applying it the next day.
And would you say most of the people that learn this style, do they mostly use other styles too, and they kind of use this as a tool? They're just adding it into that treatment, or is it more of a standalone? Would you say they're trying to do?
Now they're using it in conjunction with their massage practice or their physical therapy practice. So it's combining, but I have had people express an interest to want to make this be their only modality, as I do. It's my only modality. Okay.
And but in your health and wellness clinic, you still offer some massage, or is it just strictly more this then, or?
No, the wellness center offers massage as well, but I personally don't provide it. So it's available to clients should they need massage, but we have other therapists who work out of our center and they provide massage. And then we also have one therapist who went through my certification last year, so he provides the AMT as well.
Okay. And then somebody was asking about the class time again. It's August. You said it was
August 30th through September 3rd is the 40-hour seminar.
Okay.
And anybody in San Francisco, you can take my class tomorrow at 2 o'clock. I also have an introductory class on the 21st. So if you're close, fly on over. It's Wednesday the 21st. Wednesday the 18th. And it's at 11 o'clock. And those are just 2 introductory workshops, again, just to get people familiar with the technique.
And those
are free.
And somebody asked about for next year too. Is it kind of the same time period around August or September then too?
Yeah, it's usually the last week or two of August. And I know it's kind of a tricky time because of school starting and stuff, so we kind of work around, I have to say, around my kids' schedule.
Okay.
Last year we had it August 3rd, so it's sometime in August. When, I'm not sure.
Okay. And
you know, when you're a parent, all of a sudden the whole world does not revolve around you anymore.
Yep. That's why I have to have this show so late, just because my kids usually go to bed around 8:30 or so at night here. So.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was the reason, so it worked out perfect.
Yep. And do you train people to be instructors too then?
You know, I would love to have people teaching this across the country. I'm not there yet.
But you see that in the near future, right?
In the near future, absolutely. Again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I really think it's the best method out there. It's fast, it's easy, it's effective. So the more people that can learn it and the more people that can teach other therapists to learn it, the better. You know, the main thing is you have to have a good understanding of anatomy, obviously, of biomechanics and ergonomics, and also palpation skills. And the rest you can learn very simply.
And somebody asked, is there anybody in Minnesota certified now?
No, there is a gal in Indiana.
Okay.
Because last year was our first one. So a couple San Francisco and Indiana, and that's it right now.
Okay. And because I think that the art technique, that's actually a lot more expensive too, isn't it?
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
It's thousands and thousands and thousands
Yeah.
of dollars plus per year. But yeah, it's a big production to be certified as an ART therapist. I'm definitely not trying to copy that model, but that's if you're comparing the two, and if you want a really effective technique and not have to spend so much money, then this is definitely something I encourage you to consider.
And do you ever use any kind of tools at all for on the clients during this, or is it all more with your hands or your elbows, or?
It's definitely more with your forearms and hands and elbows. We don't use tools per se. It's not that you can't. I do teach a technique of self-active myofascial therapy, which uses a tool like the Theracane, and also the foam roller. So
Okay.
we teach the clients how to do it themselves using those tools on their own body. But as far as the therapist using it with the clients, no. You can, but we don't teach it that way. The one tool that we do suggest therapists use, and they're our sponsor, is the body cushion. And we use the body cushion system throughout most of the hands-on therapy. You can do it without it, but I do definitely encourage therapists to use that because it puts the person in a better position to be able to access the different areas of their bodies, especially when we're combining the movement.
And is there any contraindications, major ones, would you say, for this style?
You know, just the same contraindications of any hands-on or movement-based modalities. So no. I mean, pregnant women, orthopedic conditions, all of that.
Okay.
Is yeah.
And then somebody asked, is it easier on the hands and thumbs than trigger point, would you say?
Yeah, for sure. It's easier for the whole body because the person's moving. You're not moving. The other day I was working on a client's forearm, and I don't know if you can see in the picture, but I was just going down and having them do what they're supposed to do, and I was thinking, this is so easy because I'm just basically leaning into them. I'm not saying that you'll never use your fingers, you'll never use your thumbs, but for the most part, unless you're working on the neck is obviously a smaller area, so thumbs are perfect. But if you're working anywhere else, I always tell the therapist, if they can, to use their elbows, for sure. So it saves your body. It allows you to work more effectively because the client's doing all the work. My motto, work smarter, not harder.
Yeah. And then
I didn't know how old I was earlier, Ryan, but I'm too old to be pushing on people all day long. I let them do
it. And you also sell a DVD too, I saw?
Yes, if people go to the Diamond Method website, we only have a couple of them up there as far as what I have available right now. If you compare them to your videos, they're very homemade. They've been out for about I don't know, 7 or 8 or 10 years now. But the information is good. Don't buy it for the quality and the lights and the glamour. It's definitely just for the information. But that's a good place for people to start if they want to get their hands on it and give it a try, for sure.
And do you sell it other places too, or is it directly just through your website then?
Just through our website right now.
Okay. And then you were featured in an Advanced magazine for physical therapists. How did this come about?
Yes, Advanced Magazine for Physical Therapists is a physical therapy magazine, and so I was really excited when they contacted me a couple years ago wanting to write an article and feature me, but more importantly, the active myofascial therapy. And so they contacted me, and they gave a lot of the case studies of the clients, some case histories that I gave them as far as the efficacy of the work. For example, I had this one woman who had a double mastectomy, and she was in so much pain. She was a mom of 3 young children, and she had been sleeping in a lounge chair in the living room because she couldn't lay down flat for years. So here she was every night. This is how she slept. She had, she was married. She wasn't able to sleep with her husband, and this was the quality of life that she was leading. And within, this was a while ago, but within about a week or so, she was able to go back and sleep in her own bed. And then we progressed to get her to the point where she was able to function and live a completely normal life with no pain. And, so those are just some of the case studies that they talked about in the Physical Therapy magazine. So what's exciting is the physical therapy industry is really excited of this work. And I have taught many physical therapists the modality as well. I was also featured on an interview. There's a physical therapist who has a website, and he interviewed me as well last year about the modality. So the physical therapy industry is actually taking it more seriously or paying more attention than the massage industry. So, it's kind of interesting how that happens, because again, it's more movement based, and the focus is correction and function. It's not relaxation.
Why would you say it's more physical therapy based? Do you think there's just too many styles out there for massage?
Did you ask me why do I think it's more physical therapy?
Yeah.
No, because of the goals of the work and the population that we work on. So again, if somebody wants to come in for, a relaxation hot stone treatment, this is not something for them. But physical therapists tend to deal with people who have these orthopedic conditions that AMT works with. So it's just a really perfect tool for them to start incorporating into their practices, along with what they already know, because they already have the movement and the exercise background. Just a lot of physical therapists don't have the hands-on experience. So it's sort of the switch. When I teach massage therapists, I have to focus teaching them more of the therapeutic exercises, and when I teach physical therapists, I have to teach them more of the manual manipulation of the tissue.
And do you see any conflict at all? Because I know physical therapists and massage therapists sometimes don't get along the best. Especially you being a massage therapist, teaching physical therapist. Have you had any problems with that, or has that been smooth sailing so far? And
it's been smooth sailing so far. Everybody's just looking for really good results to bring to their clients, and also to make their life easier. And if you know anything about physical therapists, a lot of them, their patients request massage or request manual therapy, but the physical therapists usually don't like to do it. Why? Because it's physical work. So oftentimes a physical therapist will prefer to use the electric stimulation or ultrasound or give them exercises because it's easier for them. So then when they find out about AMT, they get excited because they can do what the client's asking without it wearing them out. So I haven't run into any problems.
And for myself, when I was about 24 years old, I threw my back out, and I went to a physical therapist, and the physical therapist kept giving me instructions and exercises to do, and then out of the blue, they did strain counter strain on me, and then I was hooked after that. So they actually physically touched me. It's like
yeah. So if that therapist had not done the strain counter strain, who knows what your back condition would be right now.
Yep.
Yeah. And AMT does use some muscle energy technique and strain counter strain, PNF stretching, all of that.
Okay, so it's just not strictly, but it's still in that realm and stuff. And do you use anything with TheraBands at all?
That's used for the exercises that we send them home with. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Absolutely.
And is there an advanced style of this too then? I know some people say there's more advanced versions of some styles out there. Is there another level, would you say, or is that next level coming then?
No, actually it's the opposite. This is advanced. There's going to be a spa version.
Okay. A spa version? Okay.
Down. It's going to go down. Because this, again, it's clinical work. This is for people who have pain, who have some dysfunction, some condition that needs treating. So that, I think, is advanced. But there is the person who comes into the spa and still has tightness, right? Or still has a kink in their neck. So I'm creating a system that therapists can use. It's more of a routine-based massage, but it incorporates active myofascial therapy. So this is the advanced class, guys.
Okay.
And you can try this at home.
Yeah. And you can't say you learned it on the internet.
But if there's anybody listening, actually, one of my weaknesses is that the formulation of the curriculum. I've got it all up here. I've got it all here. But putting it down into a systematic approach has been my biggest challenge over all these years, the last 20 years. So if there's anybody who would love to, corroborate with me on this, I'd be thrilled. Just because there's people who that's their expertise. And like I said, I know the work is good. So if we can really get it to a solid science-based method, then who knows? I mean, it could really just take off like wildfire.
And I know you said something about case studies before about it. Has there done anything with actual full-blown research with this style then too?
No, it's on my list.
Okay.
Maybe Tiffany Fields will start researching it. If you need to hear that, yeah, listen. Call my people.
Yeah. And I just met Dr. Tiffany Field for the first time last month, so that was pretty fun.
Yeah, she's a fabulous contributor to our industry for sure.
Yep, definitely. And with the AMT technique, would you say you have to be a healthcare professional, or do you train the average public too, or how does that go about? Do you have to have certain rules and regulations to start with the classes then, or?
No, you just have to be able to palpate, to understand, again, the basic anatomy and physiology. And every state has their own requirements, so that's going to be something that each therapist needs to look into. But there's no prerequisites other than having a good understanding of the basic hands-on modalities, like Swedish, like trigger point, like myofascial therapy.
Okay. And would you see, even reflexologists, do you think they can incorporate these techniques into their treatment too, or do you see your vision more of a standalone of this style?
I don't mind it being incorporated into people's practice.
Okay.
I do think there needs to be a clear distinction in the therapist's mind and in the client's mind when we're switching from one to the other. Because I think it will be a disservice to both the therapist and the client if you try to combine it in one session. Now, definitely you can combine maybe some Swedish massage into the session, but remember, what's the goal of Swedish massage is to relax the nervous system. Well, we're not trying to relax the nervous system. We're trying to engage the nervous system and change their physiological structure. And so, again, it gets back to the expertise of the therapist. They have to understand what's the purpose of that session. So if the client comes in for reflexology, or if a client comes in asking for a result, and the therapist feels in their best judgment that reflexology is the choice, the modality of choice, then that's great. You go for reflexology, but they might also go, well, in my toolbox, I know AMT. That, I think, would be best to address this person's concerns. So I think any therapist can apply the technique, but I think there's going to be some modalities that it'll marry better with.
Okay, so some actually correspond with each other more than the others, would you say? Okay. So
Yeah.
even like let's say Thai massage, because Thai massage is a lot of stretching. Do you think that? Making you think again.
Long day.
Yeah. And you got done with the treatment just before you got on here, so.
Oh, it's been a crazy day. I know. Yeah, I'm like, okay, gotta go. I'm gonna be on TV.
Yeah.
That was good for my ego. Thank you.
Yeah. And this one past person, Angie Patrick, do you know who she is?
Yeah.
She said she even sprayed perfume on just before an interview we did the other month. So.
That's funny. Well, I was gonna go brush my teeth, and then I went, I don't need to brush my teeth. Tell me.
Yeah.
I know, it's funny. It's funny what we have to do, but I did have to, kind of straighten up a little bit. But I forgot your question. I think you said as far as Thai massage.
Yep.
So again, it's just a matter of what is the goal of the session. If the goal is corrective based, absolutely it can be combined. If the goal of the session is relaxation, then don't combine it. Save it for another treatment.
And somebody said your teeth are very, very white, by the way. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is funny. The last client that I just worked with, he's my dentist.
Oh.
I should say that. Confidentiality.
Yep.
Yeah. So thank you to my dentist who keeps my teeth in order. And plus, I think it's a reflection of the computer.
Yeah. So you planned it out just right. And then October, what was it? October 6th, was it? We're going to have you on again?
Yes.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
We're going to go over more of the business aspect because you got a whole nother hat that you wear over there then. Do you want to tell a little bit about what you do with that then?
Well, that ties into my business coaching for therapists. One of the things that I recognized way back when I was just starting my massage practice, like we started this call, Ryan, and I told you how my massage practice grew and grew and grew, and it became so big that I had to hire other therapists to see my overflow. That kind of happened by accident, but the reason it happened were for some very solid business reasons, and I can identify them now, and I help other therapists by teaching them those strategies and those skills. So many therapists are struggling. They might be fabulous with their hands, but they just don't know how to have their clients either book appointments or how to get new clients to book, or they don't know how to get the clients to come back. And so I break it down with them, and we work one-on-one sometimes, or we work on the website in our discussion forum, or we do these teleseminars. I mean, I told you, usually I'm the one interviewing people. And so you work together to help therapists first figure out where are those stumbling blocks, where are the roadblocks, what's stopping them from reaching the success that they're hoping to get in their massage practice, right? Because that's the first place. You got to identify what's broken before you can fix it. You also have to identify what your goals are for your practice. I think too many therapists are just sort of floating along, hoping and wishing, rather than having a strategy in place to get them from point A to point B.
And what type what people have you interviewed so far?
Well, gosh,
you got a huge list, don't you?
no, but I just have a couple right here of these aimed to the camera.
Okay.
These audio CDs. So let's see, Megan Holub. I know that you interviewed her.
Yep.
How to make $100,000 as a massage therapist a year. So she's one of the people. I have a CD that we did with a financial planner to help massage therapists get their finances in order, and he specializes in working with healthcare providers and holistic practitioners. We've done, Vivian Madison Mahoney with her insurance billing. I did an interview in June with Lisa Curran Parento, So yeah, there's just a bunch of experts, and every month we do at least one interview with one of the business experts. Hopefully, some months we'll be doing two. But again, I try to get the information as that's out there from all the experts all across the industry. Actually, I just did an interview a week or so ago with a gal from Ireland, and her name is Siobhan Guthrie. And so, it's a little different industry over there, but we were talking about how to promote and market your practice at trade shows and events. And so, taking different aspects of business and massage practice and getting clients and being effective in marketing and promoting, that's the key. So many therapists really, again, they don't treat their practice as a business. And that was the way I succeeded, is from day one, I was in business as a massage therapist. And so, if anybody listening to this, that's what I encourage you to do, is to think of your practice as a business. You should have as many books on your bookshelf as in marketing and business and management than you do with technique.
And it seems also in massage school, I mean, the business side isn't really stressed enough, just because I think they know that the average therapist, once they get out in the field, they're not going to start their own business a lot of times. So they just don't really focus on it, I think.
Right, and that's another point that I think is important to make, is therapists also need to identify, do they really want to be in business for themselves? A lot of therapists aren't cut out to be in business, and that's fine. Let them work for other places. Let them work for other organizations that can handle all of the background business tasks that need to be done. And that allows the therapist to do what they love to do. They can practice their craft of massage. There's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. But I think, again, you need to identify, is that where you want to be? Do you want to work for yourself, or do you want to work for someone else? I know there's this whole misunderstanding between therapists and business owners. The therapists feel like they're being exploited. The business owner is just trying to make their rent and cover their costs. To do that, they have to obviously take a percentage of what the therapist is bringing in, and the therapists are feeling like they're doing all the work. Well, they forget that running a business is a huge amount of work, with all of the expenses and the overhead and the risks involved. As an employee, there's no risks. You show up, you do your job, and you leave. The only risk is they can fire you, but there's no risk that a business owner has, which is, okay, well, the phone's not ringing and I still have my overhead to cover. What am I going to do?
Yep.
Yeah.
Kind of go big or go home kind of syndrome. And
Yeah, exactly. And so the massage schools, you're right. I think they teach the basics, but they also teach just the basics. And you can learn the basics and you can be fine, but you're never going to be a great therapist. And one of the programs I'm working on is called From Good to Great. And that's the difference. You can be good, but if you're going to be great, it's going to be the nuances that you need to learn and the little subtleties. And we'll definitely talk more about that in October when I'm on again. But I'll just give you an example of this woman who actually came in today to interview for us to hire her, or not hire her, to work with her here as a therapist. And she was okay, she was good, but she was not great. And there were probably 12 things that she could have done that would have made her go from good to great. If she only knew them, I would have she would have left and I would have said, wow, she was great. But she didn't know to do them because nobody taught her to do them, or she didn't learn to do them herself.
Yep. And the interview skills too, I think that's a whole new realm too that people need to definitely brush up on too.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Especially now, because there's not that many places that are looking to bring therapists aboard. And just one side note, I said, she was interviewing, and we actually have a little different system where we don't hire therapists. We don't have people working for us. It's actually the opposite. We work for them. So we provide the services for the therapist to grow, we provide the services for therapists to grow their practices, and we provide the administration and the support and the marketing and the booking. So it's kind of a cool system that we have. We've been doing it for about 2 years, and it works really well for therapists that are really motivated.
And how many therapists you got on staff now?
Right now, again, they're not on staff.
Oh, yeah.
They're our clients. We have about seven. We're
Okay.
small. We're small. We only have 3 treatment rooms.
Okay. Sorry about the slip up.
We have some therapists that we send out, if we're doing chair gigs and things like that, so they don't come in-house, and some people who just come and rent the room, so different variations on the theme. But we're located in an old Victorian house, so there's only 3 treatment rooms.
Oh, that's got to be an awesome look, too. And
It's fun. And then my exercise room is at the front. We've got the treadmill in the window, and you get to look out over Lombard Street. If anybody knows San Francisco, they know Lombard Street. We're not on the crooked part. We're on the flat part. We're right down in but getting back to the business, I do think it's really key that therapists, my suggestion for anybody listening, figure out what your business model is. Figure out who you want to work with, and figure out, do you want to work for yourself or do you want to work for someone else? That's the first place to start, and treat your business like a business.
yes, definitely. And is there any other things that we haven't covered tonight about AMT that you think that we...
Again, I encourage anybody who is working with clients in pain or who have dysfunction, who want to learn an effective modality where they can just get really good, fast results that are easy on your body. I do encourage you to go to thediamondmethod.com. If you're in San Francisco, my free class, it's actually $37, but you'll see on the webpage there's a code you can put in to make it free. It's thediamondmethod.com/class, CLASS.html. And that'll be the 2 classes I'm doing that are introduction to the 40-hour seminar. So I would love to have people come and register. And again, you can save 20% if you sign up before the 8th. And just use that code. And I don't know, Ryan, if you have a way of posting the code just so people don't have to bother writing it down on the websites and stuff. But
Yep, I just did the class one. I just posted that.
Oh, perfect.
Yep.
Oh, you're fast.
Yep. Then AMT -20, right? For the code.
20% off.
Okay.
And that's off the 40-hour certification seminar that's happening August 30th. And then if it's after the 21st, then it's AMT-10, and that'll get them 10% off.
Okay. Let me write that down quick. 10. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I don't know if I said. So yeah, before the 8th, it's 20% off. Before the 21st, it's 10% off. After the 21st, then it's the full rate. But again, then you can take the certification seminar for 25% for life. So It's crazy.
And for the people that are going to the AMTA National Convention, what day are you flying in then, if they want to meet you in person?
I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't even had my assistant look into that yet.
Okay.
What I'll do, again, if you go, send me an email. Can I give my email address?
Yep.
Okay, so it's Irene, IRENE, at thediamondmethod.com. And if you send me an email, I'll put you on a list, and then that way we can just do a little impromptu class over there. As long as I don't get in trouble, I'll do a quick little demo class. Maybe we can find a room for an hour or something and have everybody get together. So send me an email, and I'll add you onto that list. That'd be fun.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. But we're all staying at your house, right, Ryan?
Yeah. I got to get approval from my wife first, though. Yeah, because it's an hour and a half each way for driving, so I'm not even going to stay in a hotel. I'm just going to drive back and forth.
Oh wow, but that's a lot of commuting on your part.
Yeah, but it keeps the cost down that way too. So
yeah, for sure. Well, maybe again, you and I will get our heads together and we'll come up with a way to do a class while we're there.
Yes, definitely. And I actually teach for one of the largest schools in Minnesota for massage. So we actually have how many campuses do we have now? We have over 20 campuses now. So yeah, so we got some in Wisconsin, so we can even go to another campus really quick if you wanted to too. So
okay, that sounds perfect.
Yep.
Yeah. Again, my bottom line is I want people to learn this work. I think it will open up a whole realm of experiences and results that you have never even imagined that you can get with your clients. One other thing I'm going to just throw out, if it's okay with you, Ryan.
Yep.
I did a teleseminar last month, and it's called 8 Steps to Become the Go-To Pain Relief Therapist in Your Town. So that's available on the massagesuccess.org website, and that can apply to anybody who wants to be a rehab therapist. So whether you learn my technique or any other technique, if you want to start incorporating more rehab therapy, it's only $27, and I think it's packed full of good, solid information. So that I do encourage everybody to get,
Perfect.
Great.
Yeah. And then hopefully in a day or two I'll have the full interview up on YouTube, so people can, and I'll make an audio version of it too. So people, if they don't want to look at us, they can just listen to the audio instead. So.
All right, your face is worth looking at.
Yeah.
The last hour.
Yeah. And I'm even wearing my salmon shirt. Everybody says it's pink, but a guy is supposed to say it's salmon, so.
I guess your daughters dressed you, right?
Yes, they did, yes.
Right. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to interview me. Hopefully I was able to give your audience some good information that they can take tomorrow and use. And I would definitely invite y'all to come visit me in San Francisco.
Okay, and thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, and it's been nice to learn new techniques every now and then too. It keeps you refreshed,
Absolutely. Okay, and actually, speaking of Angie Patrick, since we'll just throw her in, I'll have y'all put this bee in her bonnet, even though she's not the person in charge. But she's got her new convention that's coming up.
Well, the American Massage Conference. Yep.
That's right. So if you think that active myofascial would be beneficial, then send her an email.
Okay.
I'd be happy to.
Her email box is going to be flooded now.
It's all about marketing.
Yep. Yep. Okay, and thank you very much, Irene, and looking forward to meeting you in person end of September. Okay.
That's great. All right, y'all take care. Thanks so much.
Okay, thanks. Good night.